Hello, Assalamualaikum everyone. Ooh. Bolehlah I cakap Okay. Ni ha. Okay. Hello everyone. Ajwat ni. Cuba Ajwat tutup Ajwat punya. Hello. Siapa yang tak boleh buka? I ke you? Saya try I dah buka dah. Oh, okay. Can you guys hear me? Online? Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Tak ada mikrofon. Korang dah bangun ke belum? Kenapa yes? Ya Allah, ya Tuhanku. Sebab kat rumah ya. MC try cakap MC. Dia nak try apa tak? I perlu share ke? Boleh I try share? Saya try Okay, kejap guys. Aisyah, kejap I nak try share kejap boleh? I tak ada perkataan share pun. Oh ada, I ada perkataan share. I share, contoh dah I share ni. Share. Kalau dia dah jadi share macam ni, tu dia jadi macam mana? Naim tak tahu ni. Allow for 1 month ya?
1 month.
I tak tahu I allow apa. I dah allow dah.
Miss dah buka dia punya window siap-siap. Di sana daripada Zoom tu boleh share terus window tu. So dia takkan kalau Miss buka.
Macam mana ni? Macam ni saya nak tutup? Stop share. Okay, saya dah tutup. Lepas tu saya nak share. Okay, saya tekan share. Bila saya tekan share, saya pilih siapa?
Slide window.
Okay, saya dah tekan slide ni Tu saya tekan.
Share.
So Miss control kat sini.
So saya control dia ni lah. Yang ni siapa ni? Yang kecil ni. Dia ni siapa?
Yang tu.
Oh, mana saya nak tutup mic saya?
الكرم.
Testing mic 1 2 test. Am I audible? Right. Thank you for the response. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, dear guests and participants. The event will begin shortly. Before we start, I have few housekeeping announcements to make. First, kindly switch your mobile phone to silent mode to avoid any interruption during the session. Second, please ensure that you have registered before entering the Zoom and make sure you use the background provided in the WhatsApp group. Your cooperation is highly appreciated. Thank you.
5. First.
Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. Dear guests and participants, the event will begin shortly. Before we start, I have few housekeeping announcements to make. First, kindly mute your microphone to avoid any interruption during the event. Second, please ensure that you have registered before entering the Zoom and make sure you use the background provided in the WhatsApp group. Your cooperation is highly appreciated. Thank you. Honorable guest, Assistant Professor Dr. Haziqah Zulaikha binti Aris, Head of Department Language and Literacy, Kulliyyah for Education, CYAT, International Islamic University of Malaysia. Brother Muhammad Ajab bin Muhammad, Program Manager of Mastering the Innovation Presentation on Research Poster. Our respected collaborators, Nahdah Club from Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, Nadi Lorah Club from Universiti Sains Islam Malaysia, Persatuan Bahasa Arab Universiti Malaya from Universiti Malaya, Nadi Lorah Club from Universiti Islam Selangor, Unit Bahasa Arab from Universiti Sultan Zainal Abidin, committees and their participants. Ahlan wa sahlan and welcome to Mastering the Innovation Presentation on Research Poster 2024. Before we start our program for today, let us recite the Ummul Furqan Al-Fatiha. Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alameen. Brothers and sisters, let us commence today's program with the nasheed of Asma'ul Husna.
نسألك يا من هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الرحمن الرحيم الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر الخالق البارئ المصور الغفار القهار الوهاب الرزاق الفتاح العليم القابض الباسط الخافض الرافع المعز المذل السميع البصير الحكم اللطيف الخبير العليم العظيم الغفور الشكور العلي الكبير الحفيظ المقيت الحسيب الجليل الكريم الرقيب المجيب الواسع الحكيم الودود المجيد الباعث الشهيد الحق الوكيل القوي المتين الولي الحميد المحسن المبدع المعين المحيي المميت الحي القيوم الواجد الماجد الواحد الصمد القادر المقتدر المقدم المؤخر الأول الآخر الظاهر الباطن الوالي المتعالي البار التواب المنتكم العفو رؤوف مالك الملك ذو الجلال والإكرام المقسط الجامع الغني المغني المانع الضار النافع النور الهادي البديع الباقي الوارث الرشيد الصبور الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير اللهم صل أفضل الصلاة على أسعد المخلوقات كسيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم عدد معلوماتك ومداد كلماتك كلما ذكرك ذاكرون وغفل عن ذكره الغافلون
Brothers and sisters, to gain his barakah in our program for today, I would like to invite Brother Ahmad Farid to lead the dua recitation. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Hamdan yuwafi ni'amahu wa yukafi'u mazidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhika al-karim wa azimi sultanik. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala sayyidina Muhammadin salatan tunjina biha min jami'il ahwali wal afat wa taqdi lana biha jami'al hajat wa tutahhiruna biha min jami'is sayyiat wa tarfa'una biha indaka a'la ad-darajat وتبلغنا بها أقصى الغايات من جميع الخيرات في الحياة وبعد الممات وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Ya Allah, our Lord, the most gracious and most merciful, we gather here today to pray for your mercy and guidance. Please bless this workshop, mastering the presentation of Innovation Research Poster with your grace and blessing. May with that grace, you give us guidance. You strengthen our unity. You improve our religious affairs and our world. Ya Allah, our Lord, grant us your tawfiq and guidance. Bless our plans. Guide us with your continuous guidance. Lead us all to the straight and true path that leads to peace and well-being. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار أدخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. Taqabbalallahu minna wa minkum.
Minna wa minkum taqabbal ya kareem. Thank you, Brother Ahmad Farid, for the dua recitation. Dear guests and participants, first and foremost, Alhamdulillah, the greatest gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the opportunity to be here together for the mastering the presentation of innovation on research posters. For your information, the purpose of this program is to provide a platform for students to have chances to sharpen their ability in research academics and effectively present their innovations and findings. Brothers and sisters, together with us is an experienced yet humble person. Assistant Professor Dr. Haziqah Zulaikha Aris is a distinguished academician currently serving as the head of the Department of Language and Literacy at the Kulliyyah of Education CYAT in International Islamic University of Malaysia, IIUM. She holds a PhD in Applied Linguistics for English Language Teaching from the University of Southampton, England, and a Bachelor of Education in Teaching English as a Second Language from International Islamic University of Malaysia, IIUM. Joining IIUM in 2021, Dr. Haziqah has played pivotal roles beyond academia. She served as the Deputy Director of the International Institute for Muslim Unity, IIUMU, working to promote IIUM as the global Islamic educational institution dedicated to strengthening the unity of the Muslim Ummah. She also leads initiative on leadership development and holistic well-being, which is Insan Sejahtera. Recently, Dr. Haziqah has been awarded Sessions Best Speech Presentation Award in Curriculum Development and Educational Outcome at the 3rd International Conference on Education, Teaching and Learning. Not to forget, aside from being academic, royal MCs in IIUM, where she has emceed many highly protocoled events like IIUM Convocation. With those achievements, I believe that she is the best speaker to suit our program for today. Without further ado, I would like to invite Assistant Professor Dr. Haziqah Zulaikha binti Aris for her exceptional lecture on mastering the presentation of innovation on research poster. فيتفضل مشكورة.
All right, thank you. All right. Okay. Wait, 1 second. I think you have to mute the speaker or something. Najira, it's okay. The brother boleh. Okay. All right. Can you guys hear me well? Any berdengung?
No, doctor.
Okay.
You're
All right.
clear.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. Thank you so much, Miss MC. Well done. A'udzu billahi samil alim minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. I bid to all and everyone here today. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers, of course, Garif from AHAS IRKHS and few others mentioned earlier, which I tak sempat nak capture. Thank you so much for organizing this. I hope that we will gain a benefit. You and me will gain beneficial knowledge from our sharing today. All right, so before we start, so Alhamdulillah, I see here we have around 69 students. If possible, can you identify yourself if you are international students in the chat box? So in the chat, please type, I am from, say, United Kingdom, or I am from Morocco, or I am from Oman, if you are. If you are not, then that's good. Because when I speak, usually, most probably it will be in English, but sometimes I mix, especially with jokes. So I don't want you to miss out. So if you are an international student, please identify yourself by telling us in the chat box where you are from. Okay, all right. Now, without further ado, let's start, inshallah, with the workshop. So, replace. Can the committee stop sharing so that I can share my slides, please? Okay, Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much. Share. Okay, kita dah belajar tadi ni. This one. Okay, can you see my slides? Okay, good. Alhamdulillah. Now, before we start, I just would like to correct a little bit about me from the MC. So the last word was I am the best person to talk about this mastering the art of presentation. Okay. Well, first of all, in the poster it says mastering apa nama dia? Mastering the presentation of research poster, right? Okay. However, when I reflect, I am going to make this workshop a bit more general, whereby I do not limit this lecture meaning presenting or communicating your research just on research poster. You can apply whatever that I shared today, of course, to other mediums. Say you have for your first year defense proposal, for example, or perhaps you want to share this through your video competition. You are presenting your research at a conference. Okay, so I make it a bit general so that it can be applied in many other circumstances. Okay, that's number one. Secondly, so our beloved MC, a beautiful and very well prepared MC, earlier mentioned that I am the best person to talk about how to communicate and presenting your research. Allahu Akbar, Amin, one day. But however, I just want to make it clear that I might not be the best person to talk about this, but I have had experiences and I also have my successes and challenges that I experienced. So whatever I share today will be based from my perspective, from my challenges, from my successes that I have experienced, that I have encountered, with the hope that to a certain extent, whatever I have experienced will be beneficial for all of you. It will be something that is valuable and that you can apply in your own life, inshallah. So hopefully by the end of this workshop, we all can learn something and grow together um, uh, with flying colors. Ameen, inshallah. You can be more confident, of course, to talk about your research. Okay, hopefully, ameen, ya rabbal alamin. But like I said, I'm not the best, but boleh lah nak kongsi sikit-sikit. Okay, all right. Now, so this workshop today, the title is Mastering the Art of Presenting presenting or communicating your workshop. So at certain point, you are presenting, whereby people listen to you and there's no interaction. Other cases, or in most cases, it is about communicating your research. You communicate. So it is two ways interaction. You tell people what you are doing and people ask you questions about what you are doing. So it's a two-way interaction. Okay. And then next. Okay. Now, the objectives and overview of this workshop. First, hopefully we can tackle, we can tackle some of the do's and don'ts. Kejap I have issue lah benda ni. Something is bothering me. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Done. Jangan sabar. I have a lot of people with me today ya. Kiri kanan nak tolong I. Sebab I pandai cakap. Technical wise kena bantuan. Okay, anyway, let's move on. So, the objectives and overview of our workshop today is first to tackle some of the do's and don'ts of giving academic presentations. This is not just any presentations, but it is academic. So when we say academic, it is a bit more formal. It is very argumentative. And of course, there are a lot of factuals, facts, meaning data, your literature review, and the theories perhaps that you are going to use. Okay. So we're going to see what are the do's, what are the don'ts when we talk about giving academic presentations. And also I will inshallah introduce all of you to the different strategies to effectively communicate your research. This is not the only best way to do it, but these are some of the best practices that you as a graduate student or perhaps as a lecturer can utilize when you communicate your research to people, be it in the in poster competition, in conferences, in video competition, or in any academic or research settings. And then we are going to also look at how do we engage our audience to what we are saying. So when we talk about academic presentations, dia bukanlah presentation yang menyeronokkan to a certain extent. What more if it is not very much related to your content, okay? If you have, usually when you communicate your research, when you do academic presentations, we expect academic audience meaning academics or students, people in your field. But there are instances whereby you have academic audience more than non-academic, but in most probably these academics are not related to your field. Now, how do you get these people to listen to what you are saying, and how do you as a speaker engage with your audience? Okay, so hopefully these are the things and the objectives that I am going to try and achieve today, and hopefully these are the takeaways that you are going to take away from my workshop today. All right, okay, next. All right, so before we start, so these are some of my research presentation journey. If you look at the very left, that is my long time ago. Kurus tak relate. Nampak kan muka cukup takut macam fusia. Memang this was in my first year PhD. We call it in England first year PhD progression. So a bit about me, I did my Bachelor of Education in IIUM. In fact, in the Kulliyyah of Education in TESOL. I didn't do masters. Right after my degree, I straight away went to England to pursue my PhD. So I didn't have much experience or exposure with regards to postgraduate studies. So it was quite a struggle for me, but alhamdulillah I survived. So this was my first year PhD progression. Here in Malaysia we call it proposal defense, if I'm not mistaken kan Syarah kan? Proposal defense, okay? So this is the first time I talk to people about my research. It was scary, and if you can see, even though I have my body language, but most probably my eyes are on the laptop, okay, or on the computer, thinking of what to say next and how to say this, and to make sure that I said every single thing in the slides. And you can expect that the slides are very wordy. Okay. And then next, this was recently, these two pictures next to each other are just recently, this month. So I was invited by SMK Tambun in Perak to give a lecture or to give a talk about the research or the project that I did about as teaching strategies, about multiliteracy pedagogy to be precise, to teachers in SMK Tambun. So this is part of Tambun, and that was part of their language teacher career development. Okay, so try as a postgraduate study, when you do your research, try to think of how to utilize or do something that will not only benefit you, an academic setting, but also the community. For example, so for my research, so the main agenda or the main objective is to look at the cognition and practices of teachers. But at the same time, I also expose or create awareness on this particular strategies or teaching language strategies. So that allows me to a certain extent to share with teachers other teaching strategies that they can use in their own teaching language and teaching process. Okay, so killing two birds in one stone. Okay. And then last picture was me last week Friday at education teaching and learning conference in Kuala Lumpur. It is an international conference. I think last year's they have been everywhere, Italy, Melbourne, and this year they are in Malaysia. So that's why I lari-lah pergi, sebab next time dia kat Bali pula. So macam bye. Okay, alright, so these are my research presentation journey or some of my academic presentation journey. Nak cerita semua, sekejap kita habis. Okay. Alright, apart from giving academic presentation, like what our Miss MC said earlier, I am currently active in in speaking in public journey, public speaking or speaking in public, either as an MC or a moderator. To mostly highly, if I'm an MC, mostly highly protocol events, moderator, any session lah. Recently, so the first picture on your left is me moderating a forum on cultural and civilizational diplomacy, organized by IDFR, one of a department under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Okay, and then I also give a presentation. I tak ingat, ini I bagi presentation rasanya, Insan Sejahtera training of trainers in IIUM, and the last picture was just this last Tuesday. So we had a roundtable discussion on talent management and succession planning, attended by our newly appointed rector and few, I would say 8 Jerungs or giants good, powerful people in Malaysia lah. Okay, so that's why I am confident to take up this opportunity to share with you some of the things, do's and don'ts when you talk in public, and what more when you talk about your academic research or when you do your academic presentations. Okay, all right. Now, communicating your research. Why do we communicate research? Why do you have to listen to my talk? Okay, because, and why do we have to do this workshop? Okay, so firstly, because we want to explore opportunities to give a research paper during your study. Now, giving a research paper meaning to share with people what you are doing. In most cases, we will always hear people said doing a PhD is a lonely journey, ataupun master is a lonely journey. It is you and your project. And sometimes your supervisor, kalaulah dia rajin nak, bukanlah rajin, maknanya kalaulah dia tak berapa nak busy, okay? But actually it is not, okay? Communicating your research should start from you. You find opportunities to talk about your research while doing your PhD because it will help you to shape your ideas. How do you make familiar with what you are doing ataupun you avoid daripada you short sendiri of whatever research project that you are doing is by communicating with people. Talk to people in any settings, okay? Explore, do networking, share what you are doing. Okay, when you share, and one thing is sharing. Another thing that you will get is the feedback from people. Either apa? Tak faham lah, you cakap apa tadi? Or kenapa why did you do that? Why don't you do this? Okay, all these feedbacks are the things that will shape your ideas and your research projects. And the mentality of most postgraduate students, termasuklah saya when I was a PhD student, is that whenever I share and people bagi feedback, I took it as a critics, as a negative criticism. Macam I was a bit defensive, but actually now that I am a lecturer, I realize that no, it is a good positive opportunity for me to improve my research ideas, for me to know the loopholes in my research and shape it and mold it to make it a more solid and be more confident about my research project as well. Okay. And then these, when you communicate your research, you are actually giving practice. You are actually practicing, okay? Practicing for the future. Okay, what do I mean by that? Viva. Viva is the ultimate academic presentation or ultimate communicating of your research where you tell the examiners about your research and defending your research, saying to the examiners, look, this is my research project. These are the things that I have done, and I believe that this is good. Convincing that they should let you pass and with no corrections. I mean, okay, so practice. So talking to people about your research are actually giving you the platform to practice, to communicate your research. Practice makes perfect, okay? Please have this in mind. Do not expect one time you talk about your research and khalas, you are superb already. It takes time and you need a lot of practice. And then networking, okay, make contacts with researchers with similar interests. When you communicate, usually you will find people yang sama macam you, either graduate students or lecturers or anyone related to your field. Okay, so you are actually doing networking. If you are not yet employed, so perhaps these people are the one that you would like to convince. Habis PhD you boleh kerja dengan orang-orang ni. So it is very important for you to start to communicate your research and start early. Okay? All right, so where are we required to present our research? Of course, it is part of your milestone. Like I said earlier, in IIUM, for example, we have the defense proposal in the first year. And then you have the colloquium, right? Or the viva voce. So those are the milestones, okay? That you have to tell people and convince people to believe that your research is worth doing for or is worthy. Okay, other places or other settings where you communicate your research. First, conferences. So I think in most universities the requirement, or correct me if I'm wrong, yeah, the criteria for to graduate for PhD, you have to present papers ke publish paper. I think either dua lah. Either you kena present ke, you kena, kalau bukan kriteria pun, if it is not criteria pun, it is good for you to attend conferences. Okay. And then it is good for you, it will add to your CV if you have had presented papers at conferences. And bila you viva, when you are doing your viva and telling your examiners, okay, so my research title is blah, 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 and I have presented this research project at conferences, blah, blah, blah. It is more convincing, okay? It is more convincing and more solid. And then you will also communicate, you can also communicate your research through research competitions, okay? Bukan poster competition lah. And one of it is poster competition, video competition, apa lagi competition yang ada sekarang, innovative competition, macam-macam lah competition, okay? And one of it is 3-minute thesis competition. It is not as wide here in Malaysia as in the UK, but this is something that as graduate students you might want to explore. 3-minute thesis competition where you talk about you communicate or present your research in just 3 minutes and only 1 slides. Kalau when I was in England, the rule was to have only 1 slides. Ke 2 slides, saya tak ingat. Tapi it has to be 3 minutes, tak boleh lebih daripada tu. And it was not easy lah. I didn't take the opportunity to join, but I know that it is something that is very popular in the Europe, and I believe in Malaysia as well now. I think last year or this year our students won 3-minute thesis competition held by the public universities in Malaysia. So as a graduate students, perhaps you want to explore on these competitions, yeah? Okay, all right. And then, so yeah, when we talk about communicating your research, these are my examples actually. So Research Cafe this was when I attempted to present my research at this event called Research Cafe. So that was me practicing. It's very laid back where you talk to people at a cafe about your research. Sambil minum coffee and you talk about your research lah dekat cafe. And this was my preparation just to talk about my research in a santai setting at a cafe, okay? And then this is another example. So this is how you communicate your research through posters. Mine was not the best. I think you've had a lecture by Prof. Sabri last time, right? So he's good in designing posters and he has won a lot of awards with regards to this competition. So this poster tak ada graphics, ada graph. Okay, so that's an example of how you communicate your research through how you design your poster. Designing is one thing, communicating and talk about it is another. And also this is an example of a video competition. Okay. All right. Now, before we move on, I would like to hear from you guys. Any concerns about making academic presentations? What do you think? I mean, have you had? I mean, you can write if you want to speak. You can unmute. But if you feel like writing, you can write in the chat box. I tak boleh tengok eh. Kalau I nak tengok macam mana? Oh, sini chat. I'm Indonesia. I am Balu from Nigeria. Hello, Balu. I am Najib from Indonesia studying. Hello, hi. Okay, so any concerns about making academic presentations? Anyone? If you would like to share, you can unmute or you can type. Salah. Takut penulisan tak kena dengan tajuk, doktor. Okay, your writing tak tally with your tajuk. Okay, that's good. That is common also. I also takut sometimes. What you can do is, Luqman, before communicating your research, firstly, you have to be confident about what you are doing. And that can be achieved by talking to your supervisor. Where if you plan to participate in a poster competition, in a video competition or any competition, make sure you have consulted your supervisor, validate the content of your research and the title with your supervisor. If you are at the early stage of your research postgraduate journey, well, I don't expect you to present yet because of this, because there's possibility that your write-up or your writing are not tally with your title. Okay, so you can consult with your supervisor and get that confidence. If your supervisor said, okay, Lokman, this is actually good. How? This your content is actually tally with your title. You can ask, how so? Or else, sepatutnya you lah yang kena tahu because it is your research project and not your supervisor, okay? But that's one way on how you can address that, okay? I didn't know how to start, but I did. Love to. Of course, starting always problematic when we do something, right? Takut salah grammar, afraid of broken English. Well, I don't think my English is good also, but give it a try. Well, one thing I learned when I study when I studied in England was that native speaker, they don't judge you based on your English proficiency. I mean, does not mean you should not improve your English fluency, but as long as you can get the message across, good enough. Small mistakes, careless mistake. Personally, I buat careless mistakes. It's okay, leave it. It's okay, as long as people understand what you are trying to say, as long as you got the main content correct. Okay, so and trust me, people will not judge you much on your especially in conferences, for example. Yeah, they don't judge if you don't speak English fluently, because we understand that all of us, most of us lah, tak all, most of us perhaps in this workshop are second language. We are not native speaker, second language speaker. So I give my experience last week. So it is an international conference, right? So we have presenters from Philippines, from Indonesia, from America, from Australia, and at the conference attended physically was this one Indonesian student. She was asking question and she could not get the message across because of accent. A very thick Indonesian accent. When she says something, the presenter cannot understand. So another people in the conference room helped. Another Indonesian helped to translate. So I hope that can ease you. So kalau sikit-sikit salah grammar, it's okay. Okay, make sure that doesn't stop you from sharing that good knowledge that you have, which is your research project. Okay. Saya gugup di depan orang yang hala fokus kita bercakap. Well, I am too. I am now. Even though you are not in front of me, but looking at the numbers and I imagining like I've got like 100 people in front of me. Okay, that is normal. That is to show Naju that you are a human being. Yay. Okay, there are ways that we can do to cope with this anxiety, or we call it stage fright. But at the end of the day, it is you controlling yourself, getting your mindset straight, thinking of why you are doing what you are doing at that moment, be present and just redah je. Lillahi ta'ala, tawakkal tu Allah, jalan. But apa pun, you must sure that you get your niyah and intention correct. And inshallah, the help from Allah will be with you, inshallah. Okay? Okay. I will talk about this a little bit, Naju, towards the end of my slides. Hopefully that will be beneficial for you lah. Okay. My concern, does my research good enough to be shared? Yay! I am waiting for this for such question. Are we good enough? Are we at the international level? Okay. My experience as a lecturer, Intan, I am now a lecturer. I am the head of department, and I have Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. I have 3 PhD students, 2 Masters by Research students, and a long list of directed research students. I do feel sometimes insecure that my research are good enough. Good example, last week Friday. So last week Friday, we have sessions, right? So this they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 speakers before me from America, from Philippines, from Melbourne, Australia, from Thailand, a professor from Thailand, and also a doctor from Sydney, Australia. And lepas tu I. Bila I nak present tu, I was thinking, Allah, hebatnya diorang, aku ni hebat ke? Boleh ke research aku ni? Layak ke I nak bercakap pasal my research dekat depan ni? The answer is, of course layak. I mean, ilmu Allah tu luas, betul? You are doing your research because you want to bridge the gap for that one particular perhaps small gaps. So it is good enough. And if it is validated or your supervisor verified that, okay, the problem statement valid, the gap valid, and the way you are addressing or bridging the gap valid, that means your research is good enough. Okay, it is normal to feel such way, and believe me, I think most of the lecturers, including me, I mean, I'm not talking on behalf of other lecturers, but me personally, I do sometimes feel like this, but I will always rethink ataupun fikir semula ataupun what is the word I will betulkan balik I punya thinking. Look, Haziqah, they are good in whatever they do. I am good in whatever that I do. So mungkin diorang lebih dekat situ, I lebih kat sini. So if I can listen to their research, so they can listen to mine too. And trust me, when you are communicating your research, be it in poster setting, competition punya setting, conferences punya setting, or just any lecture, people won't come to you and say, I don't think your research is good enough to be presented here. Never. Yang that will only happen masa you tengah milestones you. Either defense proposal or during Viva. But then again, itu pun, the examiners will never say that, no, I don't think your research is good. Masa defense proposal lah, at the early beginning. No, we will not say that. Rather, we give you feedback to improve. So there is no such thing that your research project is not good enough if it has been verified, ataupun validated, ataupun you have passed your defense proposal. Okay? All right. Next, Doctor, how to stay connected with the audience? Okay, we're gonna good question, Fatini. We're gonna do that later. Okay, I'll have a few slides on that. Thank you so much, Mr. Boost. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Okay, good. So those are some of the concerns that some of you had. If you have more, keep them coming and I will address them towards the end of my lecture, perhaps masa Q&A. Okay? All right. Now, one point that I would like to share, delivery makes the majority of a message impact. Yes. So if you communicating the dua, satu content, another is delivery. Content is whatever that the research project that you are doing. Okay, the theories, the methodology, the literature review, the data that you have. Delivery, either the medium of you communicating your research. Poster, you must make sure that the poster is designed carefully. If you have to present verbally, then you have to make sure when you talk to people, you do it effectively. And if both are well balanced, then it will create impact. Either you win that competition or you get an award, or the takeaway that people get from your presentation is a lot and you get a lot of pahala. And I tend to focus more on that. Whenever I talk in public, when I do sharing, mostly with academic presentations lah, I really hope, and my goal is always that people understand what I say and they have something that they can bring back and apply, so that I can have a lot of amal jariah. So I have tried this quite some time in a few years now, and I mean like sebelum ni tak lah, of course lah kan, kita ada masa-masa yang kita berubah, and I feel more at ease and I feel less pressured. Menang lah, tak menang lah. One thing, last Friday, I realized that when during the conference that I have to give this workshop next week, and I said when I pray, I said, Ya Allah, I am going to give a workshop on how to communicate research to students next week. Now I am communicating my research. Grant me, Ya Rob, allow me to, if I can win, Alhamdulillah, but most probably, hopefully people can understand me and get something from my presentation. And if possible, if I can win, this is a good example and experience that I can share with people next week. So Alhamdulillah, it was granted. And I won a Best Presentation Award. And thus, here I am today presenting with you. So, what I'm trying to say is you make sure that your content is well prepared, well organized. If you have argument, it is well structured argument. Yet at the same time, you have your slides. If it is presentation, your slides designed properly. I mean, kalau slide, dia ada cara kan, the do's and don'ts. Make sure it is not overloaded with words. If it is posters, you make sure you need graphs and, structure and whatnot. And also the presentation on your verbal presentation of your research academic presentation to give an impact, okay? Now, how do we create an effective presentation? Like I said earlier, first and foremost, identify key points of your own research. If you ask me, Doctor, what are the things that we present or that we communicate to audience when we talk about our research? Okay, firstly, obviously, research background. Introduction to inclusive of research background. What is it about? Who are you? Of course lah, you siapa? And then what is the title? General few backgrounds about your research. And of course, the literature review if you have, but not extensively. Remember, you are not writing a paper. You are communicating. People are listening to you. Few key literature review. And of course, then your methodology, how, masa dalam in your research background too, obviously you need research objectives. What are the things that you want to achieve? And then literature review, what have been said in your field or previously by researchers. And also you have your methodology. How do you intend to answer the research questions or to achieve the research objectives that you have had in your research? And of course, the data. And also data, it can be a conclusion plus discussion or data plus discussion, up to you. But I personally, I like to separate. Data is one thing, discussion, I would like to combine data and discussion together, and then conclusion or the Q&A session. That's all. Okay, so you must identify these points first before you plan on the delivery of your research. So this is the content part, yeah. Less formal than academic papers, of course. Ayat dia, the sentence structure are not very rigid. Okay, when you present something, either in classes or anywhere, you can tell whether that person is reading a script or that person is actually talking to you. So because writing, the sentence structure, the language is much more formal, okay, compared to when you are speaking, okay. Even though verbal presentation is less formal, okay, but you still need that clear structure. It has to be, your arguments need to be organized, okay, so that people can understand you. Even though it is less formal, but it is heavy with factuals, with terminologies. So you need to make sure that you organize a position, structure your arguments clearly, systematically, so that people can digest what you are trying to say, at conferences, for example, okay? And then use appropriate tools and software to engage your audience. So the first two parts is with regards to content. Second, baru you fikir delivery medium you nak guna apa. If it is poster, there are so many AIs now. I'm very old school. Just yesterday, I learned that we have this one AI to create PowerPoint. Apa? Gamma Ray. You pun tak tahu. You bukan. Oh, you pun also old school. Alamak. Anyway, to say, we have a lot of AI that can help us to create either posters, slides, presentation, or macam manalah cara video ke, for example, if you are attending video, if you want to participate in video competition, so select your tools and software. Banyak ChatGPT, of course. It's good to use ChatGPT as a prompt, especially to help you build or boost your confidence in presenting your academic research. Okay, and then other software macam-macam lah, Canva, many others, among others. Select and pilih mana yang apart from when you do the selection, think of how which one will better represent the content that you have, if you use in that particular medium. Another one yang you comfortable and you are familiar to handle. If, for example, if you go to conferences, right? No, apart from using slides, PowerPoint, you can also use Prezi. I don't know if you heard of it, but Prezi is something like presentation juga. It is powerful, it is nice, cantik, but if I've seen people yang tak familiar on how to use it, mungkin some other people yang buat dia yang present, haywire, interruption. So this distraction will affect your confidence and your points and whatever that you have prepared when you want to communicate your ideas. Okay, so make sure you are familiar and suitable and comfortable using that particular tools or software when you are communicating about your research. Okay, or in communicating in another setting, in general setting also. Okay, now what do you want to communicate? Now let's look at how to plan your content. Okay, top tips, know your material. Tadi we have question. The question earlier tanya, I'm not sure whether my content or my writing tally with my title. That to a certain extent tells us, tells us that's distraction. That is to a certain extent tells us that you have a lot of things to do and to master and to read and to explore and to talk to with your supervisor with regards to your research. Bukan you tak tahu, you know, tapi tak cukup. You need more. Okay? How do you know? How do we know that we understand our research in and out? You don't need anything to talk about it. Okay, it is already in your mind. And if you need just like a small paper macam ni je, for example, tak nampak. Okay, anyway, all right. Next, most important aspect, don't provide too little content. Okay, for example, I give you example untuk slides presentation. Of course, you don't want to make your slides too worthy. Segalalah penuh ni. Slide ni dengan perkataan, tak ada ruang putih langsung. But at the same time, you don't want to provide too little content. I'll show you in a minute, okay, of my own personal slides I did for my conference last week, okay. But yes, don't provide too little content, yet not too much, okay. Avoid TMI, meaning too many information or too much information. Okay, sampaikan orang tak sure nak dengar you ke nak baca. I have had an experience with an IT constructor. I mean designer. He's a designer lah, but a lecturer. At that time, we were listening to this one person punya presentation, and the slides, ya Allah, penuh with words. I mean baris ni setiap baris tu adalah macam karangan. Okay, and his comment was, kalau you nak suruh I baca, baik I tak payah dengar you. I boleh baca, tak perlu pun dengar you. Okay, so we don't want that. So you have to create balance. Okay, not too many information, not too worthy, yet at the same time not too little. Because kenapa jangan too little? It is more easier for the audience to comprehend something if they can hear you and they can see it in front of their eyes. Okay, so we will see on how to create this balance in a bit. Okay, so your content, this will usually be a topic you know more about than anyone else. Yes. Graduate students, please remember that you are the leader, the owner of your research project. Okay, excuse me. Meaning, at the early stage, maybe you don't know much. At the middle stage of your research, you know some. Level dia, you sama level dengan your supervisor. But at the end, towards the end of your research, you must know more than your supervisor. You are the expert in your field and more and most importantly in your own research project. So you are the leader of that research project, you own that research project, so you must be familiar with your research project. If you are not, if it is you have a lot of questions, it means that you need more reading to do, you need more researching to do, and you need more time to think about your research project. Okay, all right. Okay, now when preparing your content, okay, first plan around your core idea or concept. These are the things I said earlier. Tadi tu, if you are presenting, well, untuk posters, I think Prof Sabri has covered last week. No, last month. Last month. So untuk presentation ataupun untuk video competition. So the things or elements that you need is research background, literature review, if any, or theories. Oh, literature review encompasses theories, theories that you use in your research. If you ask me, I would, rather than telling what people have done, I mean, dia tengok juga kepentingan pada kepentingan conference tu ke ataupun kepentingan your research. To me, for my research, it is more important to tell people about their theories rather than telling what people have done in my area. Okay, so literature review / theories, okay, that you use in your research, and then methodology, okay, that you use to answer the research question or research objectives that you have, and then the data and discussion, okay, and also the conclusion, okay, and then ensure it flows logically. Kalau you follow this, insyaAllah lah, it flows logically. If you don't want to use this, okay je. This is not the one way that you have to follow. No, you can use any other flow or any other structure, up to you, but you have to make sure that it is logic. Okay. Kalau macam contoh, I bagi you contoh nak. Okay, dalam drama kan dia ada flashback lah, fast forward lah, whatever. Let's not do that. Let's go straight forward and get done with it, because time factor also. It's good to use storytelling in your research, but try keep it as simple as possible, okay, as layman as possible. Okay, factor in how it will be delivered. Factor in how it will be delivered. Okay, you can use humor in presenting your research, and I did that last week. It was fun. Okay, you fikirlah segala benda. For example, how do I say, okay, if I have one theory presented, I have a slide on this theory, how do I, what are the things I need to include when I explain about this particular theory, okay? And then tailor it to event, audience, and their interests. Of course, if the title of your conference is Education, Teaching and Learning, make sure you relate lah your presentation that day, even though your research mungkin tak kena, not too much related to the conference punya theme, tapi jarang sebab biasanya dia hanya akan accept paper yang kena-mengena dengan dia punya conference. Okay, then you tailor your research to that particular conference or to that particular competition. Okay, for example, last time the conference I attended is on education, teaching and learning. There are few themes. Satu, teaching strategies and education technology. Mine was curriculum development and educational outcomes. Others, other few like mathematics education, and we also have mental health, inclusion and whatnot. Okay, so you are, for example, before conference, you will get this. Tak nampak ya? Okay, you will get, they call it schedule book. You tengoklah you are parked under which theme. So if say, for example, I did, my research was on cognition and practices of teachers, right? And it was parked under curriculum development and educational outcomes. Then you try think, okay, how do I relate this to this theme? How do I make sense, okay, of my research with regards to this particular theme, okay? And that helps. And that helps, okay, to boost your confidence and also to get you more marks. Okay, and then take care to be accurate. Of course, when we talk about communicating your research, it is an academic presentation, isn't it? So you need to be responsible of all the data, the information that you share. Okay, make sure it is accurate. If you are not sure or if you don't understand, tak payah. No need to no need to include that point, for example. And good thing for being accurate is, of course lah, ethical lah, ethic. You kena cakap benda yang betul, jangan cakap benda yang salah. Secondly, it will help you, especially nanti masa Q&A, because sometimes listening to you are professors, doctors, pioneers in your field. I have had a presentation attended by the scholar who created that framework. Masa tu tak relax, takut dia. But being accurate, so dia tahulah you tak tipu. Faham tak? Dia tahulah you tak bagi false information, and we don't want that. Okay? Try to be concise and precise. Short and precise. Make sure it is cut less ataupun least important points. You know how you, when you write, you want to make more pages, you berbunga-bungakan all the paragraphs to get to that point. When you communicating your research, given the time factor, and also mainly given the time factor lah. So we want to be concise and precise. Okay, if you have a lot of information, you decide and try and cut less important information. Okay. Oh, by the way, if you have any question while I am giving lecture, you just unmute and ask. If not, you can write in the chat box and I will address it towards the end of the lecture, yeah? And if I am going too fast, okay, excited, nanti you tak dapat, stop me, okay? Let me know, all right? Okay. Next, okay, the place of stories in your presentation. This is one of the famous and effective techniques that I have seen a lot of people use in their presentation. In general presentation, I have seen few scholars when they start. Ni I have seen physically. Kalau YouTube tu mestilah lagi banyak, dekat TED Talk ke lagi banyak kan. Okay, these scholars kan, when they start talking, they start with a story. It engage the audience to listen to you. Kan? Dia kata, okay, I want to start with a story. So bila you storytelling, dia kata, okay, macam ni cerita dia pada satu hari, okay, start macam ni. Kan? So you everyone loves a story. Bukan gossip story. Okay? So, and it will boost your confidence as well. It will give you time to bertenang juga, because when you share a story, usually it is something that you have experienced, betul, and you are very you are well versed about it, and you know by heart. So bila you cakap tu, you tak perlukan people ke apa ke. Okay, so when you, it's good to start your presentation with stories, or kalau tak stories pun, something that is worth telling from your experience, relating it to your research, okay, to the audience before you start your presentation. Okay, think about, can you fit a story from your research into your presentation? Okay, tak payah jawab. Kalau takkan lambat pula nanti nak habis. No need to answer now. Have a think. Can I fit a story from my research, if I am to present this, you can get story from your data. Okay, your experience with your participants, but make sure you kena jaga ethics lah. It has to be anonymous and it shouldn't pinpoint it at one particular person, yeah. And then a story should illustrate a point you want to make. You jangan sesaja cerita. Nak tahu tak? So I would like to start with a story. Okay, so this morning when I came, traffic jam. Lepas tu kereta I pancit. Ada orang ambil sampailah I kat sini. Lepas tu macam mana you nak start dengan research ni? Dia macam krik apa kaitan? Tak ada. So when you create a story, you make sure that you are bridging it and bringing your audience attention to your research, okay? To the presentation that you are about to give, or to the research that you are about to explain, okay? A story should not replace research data. Betul, you have to make sure whatever you share is based, if it is based on your research, meaning your research data, kena story yang tepat lah. It has to be the truth story, no perencah rasa tambahan and whatnot, cannot. And it has to be anonymized, okay? Alright. And then don't overuse stories. Okay, first slide story. Sebelum start story. First slide story, second slide story. Bila nak habis? Okay, do not overuse. You can perhaps use one story one time. Kalau I prefer to use it before the presentation so that I can feel good about myself. Especially when people laugh, okay, or people are like, good enough. Okay, aku check. Okay, diorang nak dengar. Okay, then I will start with my research. I've never seen people personally lah, okay, if you have good, okay, people present their research data through a story, but if you can do it, good, okay, good practice. Next, okay, since I cakap story good, and in order for you to be impactful, you kena preach, you kena do lah whatever you preach, betul? Okay, I did. Okay, now this is my experience. From my experience, kejap I tengok. Let me check something. Okay, this happened last week. Based on my experience. Okay, I started my presentation by telling people my research story. Okay, I tell you. Okay, when I came conference to my session first day. Okay, my session first day, and supposedly my session tu at 12 p.m. meaning before lunch. So everyone masa tu mungkin lah ada energy lagi. My expectation lah masa tu, everyone are ready to listen to me. They are, tak boring lagi and energetic lah ni. So that bila I explain tu, I can have like participation, very active participant, or they can be very participative. Okay. It turns out, okay, and then before I datang tu, I tak perasan pula all the presenters earlier tu daripada negara-negara besar yang berbeza. When I came, alang-alang dengar people present about their research, I duduk, okay, first turn off, delay an hour. Delay an hour, supposedly I present before lunch, I have to present after lunch. Okay, so bila after lunch, I sendiri dah penat menunggu. Dengan segala macam ketakutan yang datang tak geti nak berhenti tu, walaupun you dah push them away. Bukanlah ketakutan, I mean the anxiety tu, waiting for your turn, listening to people, sitting down tak bangun-bangun, and then makan tak basah mandi tak kenyangnya tengah hari tu, pukul 2. Okay, tak apalah. Dah letih dah ni. Kita dah letih. I dah letih time tu. Okay. And then tengah-tengah letih tu pula, when I look at the program schedule book ni, Allah, the first presenter daripada Sam Houston State University, Amerika. Saya patutlah tadi dia present macam bam-bam-boom. And then he was presenting on online classroom. Innovative lah ni kan, innovation lah ni, a lot of technology based research. The second one from Philippines, talking about gamification. All the robot-robot tu lah, aku dah The third one from Melbourne, Australia, using online geospatial technologies. When he presented, dia siap ada, what do you call that, yang you tengok daripada atas dunia, daripada langit ke bawah tu. He created some sort of this drone ke ataupun something that you can look at the bumi and the geography, and it will be easier for the students to learn. And I was like, macam tu. Kemudian next to him is professor from Thailand, looking at NPS apps, something like, I'm not sure. Online project-based learning. Okay, and just before me, the keynote speaker for that conference from Sydney, Australia, on AR mediated literacy learning, augmented reality AR, yang pakai macam ni tu, yang pakai mata macam ni, dia ajar student dia bahasa Inggeris pakai benda tu. Dia tengok macam, okay, so during lunch I was already scared. I was insecure and I was macam, and here I am doing on cognition and practices, and I am from Malaysia. There's nothing against Malaysia, it's just kelemahan I rasa macam negara luar lebih baik, which we should not. Okay, sama je kita dengan dia. Kalau kita nak belajar tu, actually we are all same. Okay, but I can't help it but to feel insecure a little bit. Okay, and I was a bit tired. Macam mana ni Haziqah? Masa tengah makan tu, tengah dekat prayer room tu, how am I going to tackle this? What do we do? Okay. And then I think about my research. So if you can see there, so the title of my research is the cognition, pre-service teachers, maknanya trainee teachers, cognition and practices in Malaysia secondary school teacher education. Okay, how they engage with this particular pedagogy. Okay, all right, that's my research. Okay, now why are these people going to be interested in my research? Okay, and then datang Ilham. Okay, I said, look, before I present tu, I puji lah. I said, okay, Alhamdulillah, hello everyone. Okay, and I even practice ni masa tengah semayang tu. I kata, masa tengah semayang pula, Azim, lepas semayang. Okay, I practice tu. I cakap, okay, I kata, but sebelum I start presentation, I said, look, I'm so, first of all, I would like to thank all the scholars, the researchers that are here today. I was fascinated. I mean, I was amazed with the presentations, the research that has been shared in the earlier session. All technological, they were what? The teaching strategies and educational technology that has been presented. All the apps, I mean, the use of augmented reality. I mean, I've never had the experience to use that. I did this. I think, and I would like to try. Please invite me to your institutions that I can try. As I said that. And then I puji lah juga the other one yang buat geospatial tu, yang tengok bumi like that, like macam tu. And then I said, okay, but my research is nothing like that. Okay, even though it's nothing like that, it is focusing on another aspect of education, whereby if you have all this educational technology, okay, the implementer, one of the main factor that will contribute to the effectiveness of these tools or educational technological tools is the teacher. Teacher is a center of making sure, one of the main or key factor, or the center of making sure that the implementation of any teaching strategies or new teaching strategies or new pedagogical aspects succeed. Okay, berjaya. Okay, so you have all these tools. I am here to talk about the thinking of teachers when they implementing teaching strategies. Okay, so you should be and then I said why should we be interested. So if we don't look at the cognition of these teachers, the cognitive aspects of these teachers to ensure whether they agree or not with the pedagogy introduced, whether they are happy or not with that, whether they understand on how to do it or not. Okay, kalau we if we don't look at that, nothing will berjaya. How many, I cakap dengan dia orang, and then another, to the last point, how will it affect our life? Look at the national level. I mean, my country, I'm talking from the perspective of my country. I mean, perhaps you can also reflect from your own perspective in your own country. How many failures? I mean, education system failures, but how many failures experience, I mean, atau issues, okay, issues, educational issues, ataupun they call it challenges experienced by the education system in particular countries. The main reason is the failure for teachers to implement the pedagogy. Failure can be dia implement salah, dia tak implement, ataupun dia implement separuh-separuh saja. Okay, so when I did that storytelling at the beginning of that research, of that presentation, I felt actually this convinced me that my research is worth enough. And with the jokes and everything, everyone was laughing and they were agreeing to me. I said, that is a good way of looking at it. One of the presenters at the front tu, dia kata benda yang sama. So, my confidence dah naik, dah boost. So, I feel more at ease, more comfortable, more chill, more relaxed. Then, baru I start with the theories, with the research background, why detail more, why am I doing this in this context, and then the methodology and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so instead of starting or doing the presentation in a very serious and pressured and tension way, I was able to make it fun and laid back, and I personally enjoy telling people what I am doing, despite that they are from perhaps, you know, other institutions and they are professors and doctors and whatnot, and they are using these apps yang mahal-mahal. So to that, when at that moment I feel I am worth. This research is worthy, and you know they can bring something back. Okay, when they listen to my research. Okay, so that is the benefit of using story perhaps in your when you present your research. Okay, when you do academic presentation, right? Next, another approach apart from using story in your research, I think the elevator, we call it the elevator approach, the elevator pitch approach. Okay, when giving presentation, in order for you untuk practice pun juga, you can try this. Do you know what is elevator pitch? Have you heard of elevator pitch? Anyone? Mana nak tengok? Salah. How do I look at the participant? Oh, sini. Okay dah, I nampak. Anyone? Have you heard of elevator pitch? Okay, if you don't, you can Google. Okay, meaning basically, you naik lift. Okay, you, and then there's another person, sama-sama naik lift, and you are going to a certain level, and you only have that time to explain to that one person about your research. And that will be about what? 60 seconds? 2 minutes? Paling lama pun 2 minit lah. Kalau naik CYAT ni 30 saat je lah. Sebab 3 tingkat, 4 tingkat kan? Okay? So, you can try this approach. You can try this approach, especially if you are interested untuk competition yang macam 3-minute thesis competition tu. Okay? So, in this approach, first you have to make sure that you keep your presentation short. Okay? You make sure that whatever you intend to present is within 2 minutes, below lah, 2 minutes and below. Okay, have a hook. Okay, you have to tailor that presentation, the 2 minutes presentation, to your listener lah. Okay, interest dia apa? Ibarat you nak jual barang lah. Okay, you nak jual rumah dekat seorang perempuan yang baru start bekerja. So obviously lah, you nak cakap dengan dia, you dah start kerja, you dah ada duit, and then you need to this house is good for you. So they will listen. Okay, so you need to have that hook. And then you don't overwhelm with technical details and terminology. Make it as basic as possible. Okay, tak, kalau contoh macam dalam dalam in my research, cognition is technical words ataupun technical terminologies, okay, in academic field. So tak payah guna cognition, guna and bukannya kita guna perkataan cognition hari-hari, betul. Instead we use the word think, okay, how they think, what they do in class, instead of using the word practice. Kalau lebih more bombastic sikit apa? Pedagogy. Contoh. So nanti you tukarlah kepada teaching strategies, for example, or teaching sequence, kan. I mean, especially those in science, in science field, okay, you must have a lot of terminology. So avoid from using those and try to be as layman as possible. And then convey your own interest in what you are talking. Okay, conveying your own interest, it can be done in two ways. Pertama, you say it. I am very interested in doing this because, secondly, through the non-verbal communication. Your eyes, your face, your facial expression, your body language. I am very interested in doing this because, compared to, I'm very interested to do this because. Can you see the difference? Okay, so that's how you convey interest in what you are talking about. Okay, all right. So other techniques, okay, other techniques, plain language. You use plain tu maknanya the basic language lah, the normal English. We call it normal English. Bukan macam scientific English ataupun research punya English, academic language. Okay. All right. It depends lah. Kalau audience you conference, and you have to use academic terminologies lah. If not, if you are winning, say like 3 minutes thesis competition ni, audience you orang awam, non-academic. So you might want to use plain language. So you can, okay, these techniques are some ideas or suggestions that you can mix and match. It doesn't mean that you have to use just one. No, you can mix and match. Perhaps you want to use some in your slides, some in your delivery, or vice versa. Okay? So use plain language. Okay, using humor, make it fun. I like to do this so much. Well, but then again, I'm not a Raja Lawak or apa? Queen Lawak. I tak. And all my jokes are lame. You can ask my students. Ada ke student I sini? Fatini student I. So dia tahulah I kalau buat lawak tu 10 kali buat lawak dalam kelas, most probably 1 kali je yang kena punchline. Other time they are laughing sebab kesian. Dia macam effort lecturer aku ni. And most usually I will prepare my jokes. I give you example. Last Friday, before I start the storytelling of my research, I start with a joke and I ChatGPT the joke. I cakap ChatGPT, hey ChatGPT, I nak bagi workshop je lagi ni. And then diorang dah lah baru lepas makan. Lepas tu dah petang, dah penat. I don't know, give me some joke, list of jokes. And then I buat joke tu. And then bila I buat joke tu, Alhamdulillah gelak. Okay, one thing you have to know is when you speak in public kan, bila you buat lawak, the worst is orang akan macam jadilah, okay? But most probably orang akan gelak. So, and when people laugh, you will feel at ease. Tak adalah yang dengar tu muka macam jaji gila, okay? So, use humor. Try include humor. If you have to rehearse your jokes, do it, okay? This is not so much for the audience, rather to you. Okay, bila orang gelak tu your jokes tu dia naikkan semangat you and you rasa lebih macam tak adalah tense sangat, okay? You enjoy whatever you do, okay? And then visuals, props where relevant, okay? Macam I cakap tadi lah, make sure if it is a poster, it makes sense to your presentation or delivery. And then if you have props, I don't know, last time one of the tak adalah. For example, I give you masa conference tu there's one lady, one doctor use the augmented reality, right? Perhaps if you are doing the same research and you can bring that instrument to the conference and let people try, okay? Or you created apps, okay? You can let people try. I mean, where relevant lah. And then use metaphors or analogies. This is another technique that I like to use. Metaphors, analogies. Kenapa? Why do it is highly recommended to use this? Because it helps people to understand. You are simplifying your research so that common people can understand. Simplifying, summarizing your research, okay? And give a lot of examples, okay? You cakap okay, example dia macam ni. So when you give example, people akan lebih faham, okay? And you have analogies and they can relate and make sense to whatever findings that you have, okay? I'm going to show you later of my slides, okay? But let's go through this slide first, yeah? Involve, tell me, show me, involve me. Sama lah if you have props just now. So as you share with your audience, I mean, if say another one example that I can think of, say if you you participated in a poster competition, right? And then you have your poster ready next to you, and then the judge comes. I mean, like few judge, kaya tak tahu lah, satu kedua je judge datang, and then you explain dulu, okay, so my research is about looking at the implementation of these particular apps to boost ataupun to influence or improve the reading skills of students, okay? You dah tell, you tunjuk the apps, the phone tu, kalau you ada dalam ini phone, to the judge, and then you let the judge try. Confirm markah banyak, insyaAllah. Okay? Alright. And then surprise. Ini I tak ada example, but mungkin surprise yang tadi itulah yang macam example I give you earlier, the guy from Australia who's doing something on looking at the bird eye view. I don't know how you like boleh tengok whatever, and I'm macam wow. Okay? So surprise lah. Okay? Reveal the unexpected or create that moment wow. I was and he won, I think. He won one of the awards juga, because I remember sitting there and it was like that at the back. Okay? All right. Now, okay, before we move on to the next slide, I stop share. Yeah? Can. Let me stop share this. So I'm going to give you an example of the slide that I use for my conference. Okay? So, kejap ya. Okay, this one. Okay. Can you see the slides? Nampak? Okay. So this is the slide that I used last week. Okay. So just now we said, okay, visual wise jangan too worthy. So I memang try minimize. Ini research background ni, they can have a look, but the explanation of each and every point are from me. What more, I include the storytelling just now. Okay, so I don't have to explain much in these slides. So and I purposely making sure that the slide is very less wordy and also very clear to see. Okay, and then these are my research objectives and these are my research questions. Okay, and okay, this is an example of how I incorporated the theories. I have two theories actually in my research project, and this is how I presented the first theory. I just letak diagrams situ tengah by Borg, by the expert, the pioneer of this, the creator of this framework, and then I explain each and every one. Itu pun I pergi sekali lalu je because I only have 12 minutes. Okay. And then, so tak ada wording ni pun daripada the diagram only. Okay. And then, this is another theory ataupun another framework, tapi yang ni tak ada diagram macam yang ni. So what I did was I kumpulkan all the main elements of that makes this framework a framework, multi-literacy pedagogy framework, and then I explain. Cuma these two I think need a little bit more explanation, so I provide them with graphs and tables. Okay, so this is the graphs and this is the tables. Tables pun I don't expect them to read. I told the audience like the things that you need to do to look at are these words only. The explanation you can explore later. And then I refer also to the diagram on the left. Okay. And then this is how I explain multimodality, the use of the different modes in making meaning. So I just explain the modes, explanation macam mana nak guna multimodal, incorporate the mix of what and what, the benefits and everything semua through my delivery. Okay. And then, okay, this is an example of slides yang tak perlu pun. Okay. To me lah, at least to me. When I reflect kan, I don't need this slide to tell people that my research is qualitative, participant I 6 saja, these are the instruments, the case study, whatnot, tak perlu, because it is better to explain just through this slide. Okay, it is data collection procedure, but as I explain these procedures, and I can tell them this is actually purely qualitative because I am using semi-structured interview, I am using classroom observation, and I using document analysis. And these are the steps that I went through to collect my data. So when I collected my data, so there are 6 teachers involved. It is how long I took to collect data, and voila. So enough of this one diagram, and everything in the previous slide actually can be included in this slide. So when I reflect balik, I can save time with just only this one slides. Okay. I did this. Slide ni ada masa presentation last week, and this is the don'ts. This is the don'ts that you should not try to avoid. Bukanlah should not. Try to avoid when you communicate your research. And this is an example of worthy slides. Okay. Actually, it is enough for me to just have this blue and green one. But to be relatable, berapa minit? 30 minit tinggal. Sebelum Q&A. Okay. Kan takut? Okay, sabar. Tak takut. Dia sikit lah buat. But chill. Okay. So, continue. Actually, what I need was just this blue and green. But Allah rasa the hikmah of me having this slide is to tell you that even the doctor and the lecturer are sometimes worried that they forgot what to say in their presentation. Thus, all these small points. Okay, so but if you are presenting, perhaps you just enough, no need this bawah-bawah ni. It's either you memorize or familiarize yourself with your data. And then sama lah, ini pun sama, another example. I have this slide last time, but I'm not deleting it lah, but hikmah is to show it to you. Okay. And this is the analogy that I use to simplify my findings. So explaining, one of my findings is relationship between cognition and practice. So and it is very heavy and it's very complicated, like what mentioned. Itu joke I prepare. Lawaan. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Okay. So, the relationship is very complicated. So, and I nak explain what happened to renyah. So, I guna analogy. I said to the audience, so the relationship is complex and dynamic, and it is both factors are influencing each other. How so? I cakap dekat dalam conference, I kata, first, my teachers, they understand the pedagogy, they apply. Second, they understand pedagogy, they tak apply. 3, dia tak faham the pedagogy, dia apply. Yang last tu interesting pada I, and they all laugh. And then I explain lah why, and then the reason and whatnot. Okay, so this is an example, the example of using metaphors or analogies in your when you communicate your research. Okay, and this is a conclusion lah. 50-50. If you nak guna boleh, you tak nak guna pun tak apa. And then this slide is very important. Okay, the question and answer, and thank you. Okay, sama kan slide dia? Of course sama. Sebab sebab senang. UAE dah buatkan slide untuk kita, so kita pakai je lah. Okay, alright. And then kejap let me go back to my salah. Okay, before I continue this is to share you my preparation. Okay, these are the notes that I did, okay, the notes that I did based on my research project, the structure bila I nak plan my content, okay. And trust me, I printed each and every and I have it with me when I present my paper. Masa adcon. Walaupun I don't look at them, but having them with me give me a sense of security. Just in case aku blank tengah-tengah tu, I have got myself covered. Okay? Alright, kejap. Let me share balik the slides just now. Okay, alright. Now, tak share. Okay. Nampak ke slide I? Tapi macam mana I nak bawa dia naik atas? Okay dah. Okay, we are not gonna do this activity, but you can have a watch later. Look at the video and then you cakap dengan diri sendiri, apa masalah lelaki ni sebenarnya and tak, dia lucu, presentation dia lucu. I'm making my point. I mean, bila you tengok tu apa masalah dia ni kenapa dia macam ni, and then you listkan apa masalah dia, and then you try nasihatkan dia, you tak patut buat macam ni. Ataupun bila you tengok video tu, weh, sebiji aku. Kan? Okay, so have a look later lah, but not now. Okay, moving on. Dia buka. Patah balik tak? I lari balik. Yeah, okay, alright, anyway. Okay, so ni sama lah macam point I tadi. Organize your point, use visual, be conscious of your linguistic register. Okay, you have to be conscious of the language that you use. Okay, like what our participant, one of your colleague experienced just now. But do not let language barrier to intimidate what you are doing or to stop you from doing the good things. Tu semua syaitanir rajim je tu. Untuk menghalang you daripada menyebarkan knowledge yang beneficial. Okay? Always remember that. It's okay to have grammar mistakes here and there. It is okay if you pronounce certain things differently. You have accent because your mother tongue is not English. We understood that very well. So it's fine. But make sure that your language, the language barrier does not stop from people understand your message. So make sure that you get your message across. Itu je main point dia, okay? And then practice and revise necessary to keep to the time. Usually if conference 12 minit, video 3 minit, poster berapa? 5 minit, I tak tahulah. So make sure you communicate your research within that time and hormat masa orang lain, okay? One of the reason masa conference hari tu delay sampai 1 jam because people are not respecting other people's time, okay? And that's not good. And I think it is part also of the marking criteria for you to keep to that 12 minutes, okay? This is an example lah masa I present last time. So this is me. I don't even look at the slides because I know I've got nothing there to refer to. So I main redah aje lah. Layan the presentation okay, and yeah, okay, and then presentation style, okay, vocal delivery ini part yang Fatini tanya tadi. So when you present, okay, you make sure that your voice is clear or audible to everyone in the room. Usually, kita ada microphone, lupa nak pakai. Usually you have a microphone. So please use the microphone, get your mouth close to the microphone so that the microphone can capture your voice and everyone can listen to you. And gunalah microphone, sedap sikit suara you bila you pakai microphone, okay? That is number 1. Secondly, intonation. If you are making an important point, say it clearly, slowly, and stress wherever needed, okay? So intonation, and then pace. Do not talk too fast and do not talk like that. I have seen it. This one presenter, dia cakap, okay, today I am doing my research about looking at this. So, I ni. Dengan muka dia yang serious, I macam, and we were like, marah ke macam mana? We don't want that. So, try to calm yourself, control your pace, but not too slow yet not too fast, and also make sure that you vary your intonation. Janganlah monoton. Ada tone you stress, Ada tone you tinggi, ada tone you relax. Okay, so vocal delivery is very important. Fine lah you punya pronunciation tak relax, tak boleh bawa bincang, but try as much as possible untuk pronounce the English word. Okay, and then focus on the message, not the medium. Ini related to the point after. Make sure you make eye contact, okay, to your participant. But not like that. Okay, not like that. But look at your participant. Imagine lah if people are talking to you but not looking at you. Annoyed kan? Annoying kan? And you are annoyed too kan? So, maintain eye contact, tengok dia kan, betul tak? And then bila dia angguk tu, actually dia bagi you confidence juga, okay, to continue. And then focus your attention away from your anxieties as much as possible. I tak kata you boleh entirely, but as much as possible, refocus your mindset to think about what you are going to share. How am I going to make this sharing beneficial, for example? Okay. This is an example of whether to read or not to read. Nak tengok teks ke ataupun nak pandang pada audience. Pandangan I, pandang pada audience most of the time, ya. And then body language is very important as well. As you speak, when you and this is also an opportunity for you to channel your anxiety, your anxiousness, your nervousness through your body language to the right mechanism. Make sure that you are enthusiastic while speaking, and like right after you have given your lecture, you feel like dying. Itu you direct all your energy, your anxiety tu kepada your energy tu untuk jadi lebih enthusiastic when you give your presentation. Itu yang sama ada pergi depan ke, sama ada pergi tepi ke, sama ada what exactly you want from me. Okay, that is an example and the benefit of using body language as you give your speech. Okay. And then get some practice. Yes, of course. Always practice. Rehearse out loud. Yeah, ini penting. I have had the experience of I rehearse dalam kepala otak. Dalam kepala tu, okay, mula-mula point ni macam ni. Point ni jadi aku nak buat macam ni, but I never practice out loud. It turns out, it sounds good in my mind, but bila I cakap dia macam, what? Macam tu. So, to bear you that experience, that awkward and painful experience, you practice out loud, okay? Revise as necessary. Do first revision, second revision. As you practice, you akan rasa macam tukar and whatnot, okay? And then control filler words like, ada orang suka macam, so we're going to do things like, it should be like banyak-banyak sangat annoying, okay? And tak best lah, okay, ni. And then practice pausing and breathing. Okay, this is important. Mentality most of the student, in fact I pun dulu, is that bila you rasa you lancar bercakap apabila you tak ada pause. Good speaker, dia tak ada pause. Kebabum, no. You need pause. You should pause. You should breathe. And one of the way to control your anxiety ataupun before presentation, breathe. And also you can verify this with counselor and psychology, psychiatrist. Tapi when I was in England, because I have anxiety issue as well, I pun feel nervous. Walaupun nampak macam doktor confident batu je, macam bagilah doktor, letaklah doktor kat mana-mana, confirm boleh cakap. Sampai there's one person lah, last week kan dia tanya I tau, last week lah, doktor ni kalau present ni kan, doktor tak takut Waktu aku pandang dia tu, aku cakap, kau kata aku tak takut, aku baru menangis dengan mak aku malam, aku baru menangis dengan mak aku malam tadi. Sebab takut, okay? Takut tu normal. Meaning kita manusia. Tinggi mana you pun, I bet kan, some of the professors pun takut juga, kan? But, membezakan kita adalah how do you control that fear? How do you control the anxiety? Cara yang I belajar masa dekat England adalah breathing. Banyak session, banyak workshop dia adalah pada breathing. So I learn, dia ada breathing, square breathing lah, macam-macam breathing, but tak kisahlah kau nak buat square breathing ke, triangle breathing or whatever breathing that you want to do, breathe. Because when you stress, you tak breathe tau sebenarnya. And your chest is just sempit. Dia macam, itu yang you rasa macam nak pengsan tu. So breathe. And tell yourself. I pernah dengar ni from one of a lecture from this one counselor, psychiatrist, verified counselor, yang dia kata, bila you nak buat sesuatu, you cakap dengan diri you, kalau you cakap dengan diri you, sebab you takut kan, kata, alamak hari ni habis lah, I bagi lecture fail lah. Dia akan ada satu nerve yang akan hantar dekat the entire body, kat badan you, that you are going to fail today. And thus, failure. Kan? Ramai kan, banyak kali you dengar kan how mindset is powerful. That's why I like to do my research on cognition. How powerful our mindset is. So from there on, setiap kali I have to bagi jadi MC highly protocol event ke, especially kalau dengan Agong, I have done with previous Agong, previous RPA and dia punya Tengku Mahkota, previous Tengku Mahkota Pahang in one event. Whereby the pressure was reading dia punya salutations. 3 pages. 2 page untuk almost 3 pages lah, 1 page seorang. And kita tak boleh salah. And salah sebut, salah baca the name tu ataupun the jawatan tu boleh kepada buang kerja. So pressure tu berat. Kalau macam conference you nak cakap tu berat kan? Okay, so breathe. Cakap dengan diri you, I takut, fine. But I am going to be good. I am going to do my best today. And I percaya I boleh bagi presentation yang baik hari ni and lecture yang baik hari ni, and orang akan dapat ilmu yang bermanfaat daripada I hari ni. Walaupun dalam hati ni tipu, tak apa, cakap je. Okay, and just redah, tawakal fisabilillah. Tawakal tu ala Allah. Itu tak prepare, jihad fisabilillah. Tawakal tu ala Allah. Okay, and then practice with a timer and allow so that you can tahulah okay. Allow time for the unexpected ni adalah I pernah lah ada pengalaman ni kecil-kecil. Dah besar alhamdulillah tak ada, and I hope tak ada dah lah, ya Allah, amin. But I have seen presenter bila dia present paper, especially in a conference, tengah-tengah present blank. That is normal. And that is happening. Okay. Ya Alia? Okay. Okay, so bila blank, itu dia time unexpected. What do we do? Tengah-tengah cakap blank. Pause. Salah. Okay. Salah. Okay, pause. Salah. You pause dulu. Pause, breathe, acknowledge. Look, okay, sorry, I'm nervous. I'm going to start over. Let me start over, please. And I'm so sorry for taking your time. Pause sekejap. Okay. Start again. Okay, that's how you deal with tiba-tiba blank dekat when you are communicating your research. Trust me, be it judge, be it your audience, anyone, even your examiners, masa viva voce. Alia, are you trying to say something? Ke tak? Dia nak tanya soalan ke? Okay. Alright, so be it with your examiner, with your audience, or with anyone, you make sure that bila you acknowledge you nervous and you blank, they will be nice to you. They will be empathetic. Dia akan kata, it's okay, you can try again. Okay, so do not be afraid and don't be scared. Alright? And then, okay, sebelum presentation, I did this last week, okay? Of course, dress professionally. I arrive early, walaupun my presentation will be at 12:30 p.m. tentatively, but I arrive by 9 I dah sampai. And then familiarize yourself with all equipment. I said to you earlier, right? My presentation delayed for about an hour, and instead of before lunch, mine was after lunch. And during lunch, I pergi depan and I look at the rostrum. And also the technicality of the sites and everything. So I familiarize with the equipment and also the clicking tu kan. Pointer, the pointer tu. And then greet some of the audience member. Kalau you masuk competition poster physically, poster competition, physically, get to know lah the members. If you attended the conference, get to know the participants so that korang lah nervous you. Okay, and then you boleh gain some support juga masa your presentation. And then if you are nervous, your mouth could, you can get your mouth could get very dry. So have water, drink water. I did this also last time, last Friday, right before my presentation tu I minum ni 1 botol ni. Sebab I memang, nervous lah. Okay. And then, okay, so how do we calm our nerves? I've mentioned this a lot. Set your mind straight. Pertama sekali, if you are Muslim, so make sure, be clear how you are doing this lillahi ta'ala. When you said you are doing something lillahi ta'ala, why? How? Okay. Tadilah mungkin you nak benefit other people with, you nak grant share beneficial knowledge to people so that people can get beneficial knowledge. And Rasulullah SAW even said in his hadith to share beneficial knowledge, and Allah sukalah kalau kita share beneficial knowledge. So that's why I am telling my research to people. Okay. And then I am presenting this because I want to get feedback. I want to improve my research. Okay, so that people bila dia bagi feedback, I boleh tahu dekat mana I kena baiki. Bukanlah you ada mindset yang orang tanya soalan ni memang nak attack you. Kau tanya ni memang nak attack ni. Janganlah, tak adalah macam tu. So you positive kan you punya mindset. Refocus your mind, okay, kepada benda-benda yang positif, okay? And then start by addressing the audience. Like what I did earlier, you start lah kalau if you're Muslim. If you're non-Muslim, you can try positive all the negativities or concerns that you have in your mind. Okay, and then at the start of the event, if you are Muslim, start with Bismillah, with A'udhu Billahi Minasyaitanir Rajim, because anxiousness, nervousness are all from syaitan. So when bila you baca tu in your mind tu betul-betul maksudkan, Ya Rob, I am going to do this for you. Help me, protect me from syaitan, and then Bismillah and salawat, and hopefully and you lebih tenang and you can go about. And then if you are non-Muslim, you address the audience, you do some jokes, buy some time, tanya kalau ada bos-bos tu puji-puji sikit. Bukanlah bos, I mean like keynote speaker yang ada. Okay, and then pause, smile. Okay, and if you tak boleh nak pergi, okay, this is a good technique. You pause and then you smile, kira hati. 1, 2, 3, baru you start. Okay, and then if you rasa you dah gelabah sangat and macam orang macam dah slow down when you speak. Okay, try to control your pace, and then like what I said earlier lah, transform your energy into enthusiasm through facial expression, body language, and smile and jokes and whatever that you can do to distract your mind from thinking about your fear and also your anxiety. Okay, and then what else? Question and answer. The most favorite part, I think, for everyone kan. Masa hari tu, okay, so sebelah cerita for this slide. So obviously, when you do academic presentation, when you communicate your research, expect question. You bayangkanlah, if at home when your mom is talking to your brother, simple thing also your brother ask, what? What more academic presentation? It is a heavy topic, a lot of information, a lot of factual. So obviously people will not understand entirely what you are saying or entirely what you are doing. So expect some question. And what more now? We have AI. Anticipate question through AI. I am going to present ChatGPT. I'm going to present this topic today. List some potential questions that, of course, question and answer that people might ask. And that's good. Bila you have that, you dah, okay, I dah ready nak kena soal. Macam tu, okay? Bukan kena attack, kena soal, okay? And then someone may ask you question to which you don't know. Yes, so right. Okay, I'll give you a few phrases that you can use afterwards. And then, okay, the audience will see you through. Trust me, bukan you seorang je takut. And bukan you seorang je tahu you takut. Semua orang pun tahu you takut. Even the presenters, the doctor daripada Australia tu yang buat on AR tu, the keynote speaker tu, walaupun dia keynote, I can tell dia nervous. And because manusia kan, lain lah kot you Troman ke? Lah, Troman je yang boleh pergi. Kod you superpower, ada superpower ke? Okay, so it's common. Fine, they know you. It's common for you to be scared. Fine, people know that you are scared. So what? But yang penting sekali, be respectful, be nice, and address whatever the comments or the question that they give. How so? Okay, let's look at the next slide. Okay. This is real the picture tu real. The cameraman belakang ni dekat slide ni dia kebetulan ambil gambar masa I tengah kena soal. Habis saya babu. Okay, now do you have any question for me? Okay, I pun tunggulah ni, tunggu. Tiba-tiba ada orang tanya, Dia punya tanya tu je 3 minit. Soalan dia. Almost 2 minit. 2 minit. Punya tu panjang. I berdiri macam ni dengar kan. Bila dia habis kan, I wanted to say this. Kamu nanya. Kamu bertanya-tanya. But I didn't do lah. I just dalam kepala I kan. Kamu nanya kan. But no. But so when you because I nak distract diri I daripada macam gelabah kan. So aku buat lawak dengan diri sendirilah. But apart from that, so when you listen, when people ask you question, of course you are listening to answer. But please listen to understand first. Kadang-kadang, trust me, question asked are not related to your research. What more if you are in a conference you are attending physically? In my own example last week, I did my research on the thinking and practice, bridging the theory and practical of the tak yalah, complicated thinking and practice of teachers, right? That is the main agenda or the main objective of my research. Alongside, I have another theory about multiliteracy pedagogy, whereby it is as a vehicle for me to understand the thinking of my teachers. Okay, this question from I think negara mana, he or she asked me about the effectiveness of that pedagogy kepada my students. It is a valid question, but not for that setting. So if I don't listen to understand, I just listen to answer, most probably I will miss this important part. So bila I dengar betul-betul, apart from aku macam kamu nanya, I also digest the question, and I said my answer to the person asked was that is a very good question. Thank you so much. But however, I am very much interested to answer konon. But given the time limit, I think I need to cut my answer short. But for now, I mean, we can talk. We can talk. I mean, I can explain to you more later after this. But for now, it is good for you to understand that my research actually is not looking at the effectiveness of the pedagogy towards the student, but rather I am focusing on the thinking and practice, cognition and the practice of the teacher. And because of that answer, the chairperson masa tu, the chair was like, oh, that's true. Okay, that the question is out of context. So inshallah, so we can you can ask that question out. Okay, next question. Kan selamat. Macam tu. Okay, alright. And then another. So these are the things that you can ask. Contoh lah dia tanya soalan yang macam contoh when you are a student, okay, you tak viva lagi and ada banyak loopholes, common. You buat on A, tiba-tiba dia kata, why are you looking at A when most people is actually looking at B? Dah mati. Alamak. But B diploma, you can jawab macam ni. Oh, that's good to know. I've never heard of it. I mean, thank you so much for telling me that. And you know what, to be honest, that is the direction that I aim to move perhaps in the next few months. Now that you are saying it, I now totally believe that I have to look into that research to put into that particular area. No, comel tak comel jawapan? Diplomasi gitu kan, okay? So, do not be scared with that question and answer session, but rather treat it as a part or as a small part in your presentation whereby you can get opportunity to be better and to improve your research alongside doing that kamu nanya joke, okay? You can do that with your colleagues but not in a conference setting kena pukul nanti, okay? Alright, okay, this is ni pun tak payahlah sebab tiba-tiba ada orang kata 5 minit je lagi tinggal. This is a good exercise for you to practice if you want to tak kisahlah, tak semestinya dalam 3 minute thesis competition, but also you can practice ni untuk poster competition also 3 minutes juga kan, video competition and whatnot. So this is the exercise that you can try and do. So how do you do it? When you plan your pitch ni, kejap ada tak lagi slide lepas ni? Okay. So what you do in pairs, you cari pasangan lah, ataupun if you have a research group, buat benda ni. You find someone daripada disiplin yang lain, jangan disiplin you, sebab nanti confirm dia faham. If you are doing on engineering, you go and find social sciences student. Or if you do social sciences, you go find medicine student, and you give you explain your research in 60 seconds. Okay, and then you ask them, you suruh diorang bagi 3 point yang dia belajar daripada apa yang you explain. And then you tengok key point tu, 3 point tu, sama ada dia tally ke tak dengan apa yang you explain to the person. If tally, good. If not tally, then you know where to practice and improve. Okay, alright. And then what next? Okay, my last slide. Okay, so some of the key point ataupun key takeaways that I would like you to bring home is that first, you have to be knowledgeable. Kalau you jahil doesn't mean you tak pandai, tapi you tak ada knowledge, then how do you expect to give knowledge to people? Nanti jadi sesat, betul. So you need to be knowledgeable. Read a lot. Know inside and out of your research project, okay? But when you give presentation, academic presentation particularly, do not overwhelm by either having a wordy slides or a very long explanation or complicated explanation, okay? And then be approachable, friendly. How do we be friendly, senyum? Jokes that you make earlier, nampaklah, oh, approachable dia ni, tak adalah muka macam tu je. And also engaging. So try, okay, engaging ni, apart from you ask people to involve in your presentation, you can involve them in your presentation. Like what I did, like what I mentioned earlier, I did last time. So before the start of my research, I katalah, how do I engage my audience? So I said, so I was happy, I was so impressed to listen to Dr. Australia just now about the augmented reality, and also I am amazed looking at the project by Dr. America in the morning, and another one is, and I was so like wow, I had a wow moment just now listening to this Dr. Australia about the geography, whatever I just now. So engaging lah tu. So bila dia dengar nama dia kena sebut, dia macam macam tu. So dia pun nak dengar you. Okay? So that is be approachable. And last but not least, be relatable. Similar to approachable, you smile, you make jokes, you have fun, and then you try and relate not only your points, but also whatever that you do to the people listening to you. Make sure that they are deserving of, we are deserving of their time listening to us. Okay, all right, I think so. That's all from me. Thank you so much. So before I pass back to Miss Chairperson, any question? Any nampak tak kecil je ni question aku atas ni? Any question from everyone? So let's see the chat box. I keluar dulu ya. I stop share. Okay, I have stopped sharing. Okay, all right. Let me see. Let me look at the question. Can you educate us on the etiquette of defense of thesis or proposal in terms of greeting and pleasantries before starting the presentation? Okay, how do you greet your examiners, basically, right? Okay, it depends on whoever are in the room. Okay, first of all, make yourself present. What do I mean by present? What do I mean by present is you are anxious, right? When you are anxious, most of your thinking will be at you're gonna feel this. You akan blank kejap lagi. You will not be able to do this. They will ask question that you cannot understand. When you will forget whatever that you want to say. Those are the distractions. So you will not be present at the moment. So what you do, breathe. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim, and look at the people in the room. Okay? Usually in defense proposal, usually you will have your external examiner, internal examiner, the chairman, and also your supervisor, and also the admin staff. Okay? For Viva Voce, more lah. Ada banyak lah. There are more people, the CPS people, and what, so on and so forth. So when you are present, take note. Usually the session will start with the chairman opening the session. So when the chairman opening the session and you try capture who are present that day in your room. So start by addressing the people in the room and their position. Salah, if you pronounce their name wrongly, it's fine. At least you've tried, and usually they will not get offended. We, as lecturers, when we are in that kind of setting, evaluative setting, we are not going to be very hard on you. We understand. We've been there, done that. We know how it feels. So try and greet all the people present here. And I would and after say, I would like to first of all thank you so much, Prof. Chairperson. My name is Haziqah Zulaikha binti Aris, and I am here today to defend my proposal. But before I start, allow me to acknowledge the presence of Dr. Farid from Tassil Unit for being here, and Prof. Shahira from the Kulliyyah of Education for being here as my external examiner. Thank you so much for coming. If it is a defense proposal at the beginning stage, right? So you can say, I appreciate, I am grateful, and I appreciate very much the constructive feedback perhaps that you have written for me, or also the constructive feedbacks that you are going to give in the next few minutes after my presentation. I look at this session as a place where I can improve my research, yet at the same time to defend that my research project so that I can proceed with it. So thank you so much, everyone, and allow me to start with my presentation. Okay, and then you start with your presentation. So that is the etiquette of you starting your presentation. You defending your thesis or your proposal. Okay, and then you start lah with your slides and everything. Okay, all right. I hope that answer your question, Balo. Gamma AI, yes, Gamma AI, Gamma Ray pula. There's another Tommy AI. Tommy, dah macam kedai emas Tommy dah. Tom AI, there's a lot of AIs that you can. Seronok lagu dia. Anyway, so those are the AIs that you can use, yeah? And then ChatGPT really is useful in research. I couldn't agree more, but I would like to differ to a certain extent. With regards to ethical, please have integrity. Use ChatGPT, jangan tak guna. Pakai ChatGPT, especially nak cari joke ataupun and to give you another example of my own experience, I was so scared at the beginning during lunchtime. Bukanlah so scared. I mean, like I feel I've had my anxiety tu. Sampai I rasa macam I lupa significant of my research, and I ChatGPT the significant of my research, so that I can have that confidence. But in write up, you have to be it has to come from you. ChatGPT can be can be what is the term? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. A prompt can be a prompt, tapi the elaboration, but you need to read and you need to understand so that your argument is from you rather than from ChatGPT. And nowadays Turnitin dah ada dah ChatGPT percentage. So please do not submit your AI, your apa nama dia? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Your thesis tu thesis without ni lah. Okay, kita boleh tahu. Honestly, I love. Okay, boleh guna colourful presentation dalam presentation? Boleh. Yes, you can. Depends lah berapa banyak colour. If it is too colourful and very pinky one, like bila tengok tu macam ni Barbie ke research presentation ni, tak boleh lah. Balance. You can use color. In fact, in my presentation, if you I'm not sure whether you have had the chance to look at the presentation, my AdCon slides from last week, I ada colour. I purposely have colour because boring tengok hitam putih je. In fact, today's presentation banyak hitam putih, okay? Sebab tengok tempat lah. But if you can include color and a little bit of transition effect, good. I punya bukanlah weakness. Macam I personally, I am a person focus more on the delivery part because I feel my strength is more dekat presenting something rather than designing or creating the content. Content wise, I faham. Tapi nak create tu, tengoklah hari ni berapa ramai orang ada dengan I just to make sure that the technicality part tu covered. Macam Prof Sabri mungkin dua-dua. If you attended his workshop last week tu, he tell you how to design and I believe some of it is to include color. Yes, you can. Okay. Nampak macam tak formal tu depend on the berapa banyak gambar ataupun color yang you guna lah. Okay. Can you share that with us, Doctor? Which one? Research paper? Mana? Points tu ke? SHA, what do you want me to share? Write in the chat box. I will share if possible or not. Some documents tak boleh, PNC sebab I tak publish lagi. But if it is not private and confidential, obviously I will share. Tell me, okay? What exactly do you want me to share? Okay, all right. So I think that's all. Any verbal question? Kamu nanya. Any verbal question? No? No question? Tak ada eh? Oi, I see doctors here. Why? Okay, all right. If there's no more question, I think that's all for me. And then I pass the floor back to Miss Chairperson, Miss Lovely Chairperson.
Thank you, Dr. Haziqah. We are incredibly grateful for the time and effort you invested in preparing and delivering such a comprehensive, insightful lecture. May all the beneficial information will help us in future, inshallah. The last question answered by Dr. Haziqah just now marks the end of our workshop for today. Before we end, we will be having a photography session. Kindly open your camera and ready with a beautiful smile. I will now pass the floor to the respective committee to handle the photography session.
So for all the participants, you may turn on your camera for the photography session.
Oh, iya ke? Tak nampak Syirah? Alah. Anyway, guys, before we end, if you have any question, you can contact me directly, or you need any assistance.
Ada lagi ke? Okay, so I pause it. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Freestyle. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Smile. And the last one. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Publication and Promotion Bureau, for the photography session. Before that, Dr. Haziqah, someone asked, how do they want to contact you? Maybe you want to answer?
Okay, I'll write my phone number in the chat box. So my email, yeah? My email address. Also, actually, this kind of workshop should be face-to-face sebenarnya, so that you can have practical experience. It's good actually to talk, with people about your research. Tak apalah, insyaAllah next time. Okay?
All right, thank you, Doctor. Brothers and sisters, our next program, the poster competition and exhibition, will be held on 17th of December 2024 at IIUM Cultural Center. Your participation is highly appreciated. All right, I would like to thank everyone, especially our guests and participants, for spending your precious time with us. To all participants, kindly scan the QR code displayed on the screen to fill out the feedback provided. Thank you.
Yes, please write the feedback so that I can improve. Thank you, thank you.
Respected guests and participants, on behalf of the committees, I would like to apologize for any shortcomings throughout this workshop. With that, let us end the session with Tasbih Kafarah and Surah Al-As. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, everyone. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you everyone. Assalamualaikum. Boleh keluar dah? Boleh keluar
Ya,
Bye, thank
Doktor.
you Fatini. Well done, well done.
Hi, Doctor. Thank you so much.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
I like you emceeing. Bye, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.